It's not a surprise that when FNaF Security Breach released, it was one of the most talked about FNaF games ever. But it wasn't all that sunshine and rainbows, because a lot of people criticized the game for being, well, not scary. Why is that though? And will FNaF Security Breach's DLC, Ruin, be any good or even scary at all? Well, I think so, and this is what I'll be discussing for today. And if you want the DLC to be scary, then why not subscribe and like for one prayer that it will. Either way, let's get into why the original game wasn't scary at all. Well, it's nothing new that FNaF Security Breach was delayed a lot. A lot. So much so that Scott even made a little spin-off game to keep the fanbase at bay. And well, this impatient behavior set very high expectations for the game, which Steel couldn't keep up with. And adding up to that, we got multiple trailers which made even non-FNaF fans excited for the game. But where am I getting with this? When it came out, people were disappointed, outright mad at the developers. This game was just not what they expected. Don't get me wrong, I like the game, but there are things like how colorful the game is or the animatronics themselves. They're cool and all, but not scary. But let me actually elaborate on that, because we have a story where William comes back again for probably the 4th time now. Then we have an outright garbage animatronic, aka the Blob, which as far as I know isn't even a canon name for it. But excluding the lore, we have semi-good jump scares, a colorful Pizzaplex design, and, like mentioned before, no really scary animatronics. Except for the endoskeletons and maybe Moon. And some of that even left many FNaF fans in a decision whether or not they should leave the fanbase entirely. Which, I gotta say, is a bit of a stretch, since I mean a lot of people didn't like FNaF World when it originally came out, but like the sequel/update to it. The point that I'm getting at is that I don't want this part of the video to become another FNaF Security Breach rant. Rather, on how the DLC will be the complete opposite of the main game, which is what I'll be going into now. So Steel first showed us a little teaser image way back in May of 2022, which is still to this day our last Ruin DLC teaser, but this teaser showed us that the DLC will happen after the original game, presumably after either the Afton ending or maybe the secret death ending, where we'll be playing as a girl with some nice looking sneakers. And also good news for all the colorful lighting haters, because the DLC is, as you can see, in the same Pizzaplex, but now it's less colorful and slowly decaying. You could even say that it's in ruins, which is where they're getting the name from. Oh, I get it now. We also see Gregory in one of the screens with a little help me text at the bottom of it. So we could assume that Gregory got caught by Vanny at the end of the Afton ending, or outright got jump scared. And getting near the top of the image, we can see a red pair of eyes. This might as well could be Vanny still living in the Pizzaplex, just now looking over it to see that no one comes in and no one comes out. Then below it, we can also see Chica next to the statue, revealing to us that the animatronics are still out there to get us. And we know that this is not the crushed version of Chica, because she looks a lot different to it. Now more melted. And I mean, I personally think that this is way scarier than the older version of Chica. Then, when it comes to the lore, in the leaked Tales of the Pizzaplex book, we learn about a character called Amelia, who's quickly described to us as a young girl with pigtails, who's then kicking an arcade machine, which leads to her getting kicked out of the Pizzaplex entirely. And after that, she's never mentioned again. What is mentioned though, is that if you like and subscribe right now, you will get the Ruin DLC for free. And well, what if she returns to the Pizzaplex in the DLC to play arcade games, just to see that the Pizzaplex is now in a ruined state, where she then talks to Gregory, who she sees on the screen, who tells her that he needs help, and this is where the story then continues. Then, on the development side of the game, Steel told us on a little blog that the DLC is progressing well, even a little ahead of schedule. And in a Game Jolt interview with 2 of the Steelworld employees, they told us that they wanted to make this DLC way scarier than the original game, now taking inspiration towards designing it in a similar way to the daycare and underground intersection. And in the first 2 months of 2023, we got a massive development update in SteamDB that showed us a lot of the development state. Specifically, this confirms that it's getting closer and closer to being released if they're already uploading the Xbox build onto Steam, which basically could mean that they're testing out parts of the game in an Xbox build, but we're not really sure on that. So yeah, I think the FNaF Ruin DLC could actually be scary, and we'll touch upon FNaF lore a lot more. Talking about lore, MadPat recently released 2 videos on FNaF's Ultimate Timeline, and why is that important? Well, I discussed everything in this video here, and I put a lot of effort into it, so why not check it out? It doesn't really hurt, and it supports my channel. If you're more on the news side of things, however, why not check out this video I made on the leaked Funko Pops, which could have something to do with FNaF Security Breach. And before you leave, why not like and leave a subscription for a fee of the low $0. By the way, I will hopefully see you in the next one. Peace.